Yep.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Today we want to present to you our talk, Digitizing Bike Rental and Repair Operations for the Public Sector with Odoo, which is a collaboration between Thomas from Fietsambassade and me from Dynaps. If you have any questions at the end of our talk, you can scan the QR code now, and then you can leave your questions at the Padlet. I'll take a moment. All right. So, to introduce ourselves, I'm going to give the word now to Thomas first.
Thank you, Ben. So my name is Thomas Apers. I work for the Fietsambassade in Ghent, or Cycling Embassy of Ghent, since 2020. I'm a coordinator of bicycle service points at the Fietsambassade, which means the day-to-day operations. And for the last 1 to 1.5 years, I've been working to implement Odoo into our organization.
Yes, and that's where I came in. I'm Ben. I work in the front-end team of Dynaps. I've been building websites and teaching people stuff for more than a decade. And it's therefore that we started looking at Odoo as a use case for Fietsambassade. We did their backend. Thomas is going to tell you more about that soon. We also did their website and web shop, and we've brought a real-time demo for you today. First, let's talk about Dynaps. Dynaps is an Odoo partner. We're the largest one in the world. And here you see some key figures. Implementing Odoo is our core business. It's why we have as a tagline, experts in Odoo. We're becoming a multinational. You see now that we are in multiple countries. We started in Belgium, then the Netherlands, Switzerland, France, and you can make sure that there's more to come in the near future. That's Dynaps, but let's talk about the client in this case. Let's take a look at Fietsambassade.
Yes, thank you. I'll just give you a quick background about our organization. So the Cycling Embassy of Ghent is an organization with close ties to the city of Ghent, which focuses on promoting cycling through service. So we focus on bike repairs, bike rental, bike parking. We offer cycling lessons for adults, and we have bike taxis for people with reduced mobility. Now the parking, the lessons, the taxi, those are subsidized parts of our organization, subsidized by the city. The repairs and rental are more the commercial side. Important to note is that we are a social economy organization, so part of the 100 employees that we have are in a trajectory, have difficulty finding a job on the regular job market, and follow a course with us. This was a very important factor in implementing Odoo in our organization, as we wanted all of the operational processes to be as easy as possible. Simply put, the fewer clicks, the better for our people to work with Odoo. Just a quick overview. So this is a map of the city of Ghent. We have various bicycle points in the city, so we are quite spread out, plus a bicycle depot and the central warehouse. Why have we chosen for Odoo? Before 2025, we were working with about 6 or 7 different software systems, none of which communicated with each other, of course, and the numerous Excel sheets. This meant our processes were very labor intensive, so we decided in 2023 to launch a public tender. This was assigned to Dynaps in May of 2024, and after all the analysis and development stages, we had 3 go-live moments. One in January of this year with accountancy, stock management and repairs, bike rental in June, and student bike rental in July, which is a bit of a different way of working. I'll take you through some key developments in the back end. Firstly, accounting. We use double entry accounting, which means that every income and every cost has to be booked on a credit and a debit account. This is to make sure that our financial transactions are as transparent as possible, because as I have said, part of our organization is subsidized, the other part is commercial, so these flows need to be completely separated. So as you can see here in this example, double booking. Stock management then, as I said, we have different locations through Ghent, so all these locations were set up as warehouses within Odoo. So we have all of our bicycle points, the warehouse, also a couple of mobile vehicles that we use to do repairs remotely. And every warehouse has a stock location attached to it, of course, to manage the stock movements. This meant that we also had to set up routes for the stock movements. So we use double internal transfers for every stock movement. So every product has to be stated. It can be moved from the warehouse to the bike point, but also from the bike point to the other bike point. So that all this needed to be set up. This is something we are reviewing at the moment, as it might be a bit too complex for our organization. We're seeing that a lot of our employees make some mistakes, so we're thinking about changing this back to a more simple system. Yeah, then a quick word about the products. This was quite a heroic job by our warehouse manager, who was working with Excel sheets before Odoo. We were talking about 2,000 plus bike components that needed to be managed and be imported into Odoo with all the correct properties, the pricing, the routes, as I've mentioned, the minimum and maximum rules. So this was quite one of the major challenges we had in importing our data. When it comes to rental and repairs, we always start from the contact, the client. As you can see on top here, we added 2 smart buttons, the rental and repair, so you can, from the client, straightly go to the rental and repair orders. This is one of those steps, as I've mentioned, to make the whole operational process in a bike point as easy and few clicks as possible. This is an example of a repair order. So one of the developments we've done are the tabs at the bottom there. So the repair notes, of course, so we can write down what needs to be done to the bike for the client. And then, of course, the tasks, actually the working hours we spent on the repair, the parts that have been used on the bike. Of course, if a bike component is used and the stock in the bicycle point is low, then automatically an order is triggered at the central warehouse. If the stock is low there, then a purchase order is created. So this is a whole automated flow, which is, for us, was a very big step forward. At the bottom, you can see a ribbon which is printed out when a bicycle repair order is confirmed. This we use to tag the bike to identify the bicycle with some basic information on it, so that also the bike mechanic can quickly see what needs to be done on the bike. Bike rental then, we have a fleet of 10,000 plus bikes. We mainly rent out to students in Ghent, which is obviously a student city. And we have 22 different types of bikes, which we rent out from 4 different locations, which also was a very important factor in developing our web shops. We have 2 separate web shops, by the way, one for the students and one for the normal rental. When setting up the rental environment in the back end, of course, you have your rental products. The optional products, alternative products are added in the back end, which will pop up in the front end, as Ben will show later on. Pricing, of course, very important. Needed to be set up per product. As you can see here, this is the pricing for the city bicycle, 377 different prices. We had to set up, because Odoo calculates the rental pricing in a bit of a strange way. So that means a price per day, 365 prices, plus a price per month for the students which rent per month. Not very efficient for us. Is open to improvement within Odoo, but that's the way it's done right now. Then we have a rental matrix per rental product. As you can see, theft coverage and deposit are added here, which means if you add the city bicycle to your rental order, the theft coverage and the deposit are added automatically. The theft coverage you can remove, the deposit you can't. Also here you can see we make a difference between normal rental and student rental depending on the type of order is created. The serial numbers, as I said, we have 10,000 plus bikes. Those were in 3 different rental systems before. We needed to import these as well into Odoo with a unique serial number as well per bike, and then all the specific properties per bike were imported as well. We developed a tag with the serial number and barcode on it, which we can print out on a sticker and put it on the bike to identify the bicycle. Final word from me about student rental. This differs a bit from normal rental as a student. Well, it's separate pricing. For example, we have a collaboration with high school, so we can offer the bikes at quite low prices. And a student can only rent one bike at a time. So we needed to set up this in Odoo. Plus, of course, we need to know that you're effectively a student, sorry. And for this, we do a check on the email extension of the school. So you need, for example, university email address to be able to make an account on the webshop and thus rent a bike. So that's how we check if you are a student. Now, Ben will show a bit more about the front end.
Yes. So before I'm going to take you to the web shop and show how it works, it's very important to note how magnificent this is. Fietsambassade went from all these different processes to one spot. I don't know if you've noticed, but through those slides, that Odoo 4 was there all the time. Almost their entire way of doing business we've put into this one software package for them. We've thought it out together with them. During multiple analysis we went through, and I think we can say that the product does what it needs to do. It makes Fietsambassade more efficient. For me, as a consultant in the front-end team, I'm specialized in websites and web shops. And so if it works in the back-end and they can rent out their bikes efficiently, that's one good thing, but it's even more efficient if the client, the web shop user, can go to the web shop and rent them for themselves. So what I did is I've created a new account, a new person, and I've logged in to their website. I created a new environment. It's the Fietsambassade experience, like we are at the Odoo experience, so you can experience Fietsambassade for yourselves. But you can always go visit them, their real web shop. I will post the URL in the slides after this. And so Odoo Experience is going to be a client. When he arrives at the web shop, he can go and look through all the bikes they have. Let's say I'm interested in a city bicycle, the normal bicycle, not electrified. I don't need electrification. Here we went about and picked into the pickup points that Odoo has introduced since version 18, and we've extended them to also request the stock availability in each of these warehouses. So let's say I want to pick up my bike at Ghent St. Peters. It's a nice Friday afternoon, and I want to rent it today. It suggests tomorrow to rent it, but then it will be closed. Well, the return on the Sunday is closed. So let's say I want to rent from today until the 23rd. I get an error. It can't be prepared as fast. Well, yeah, it's 7. Let's say a little bit later, then I can go and pick it up. I hope there's someone still near Ghent St. Peters currently.
Definitely.
All right. So I'm going to add it to my cart, and this is a standard Odoo optional product pop-up. So here you can see what Fietsambassade has added. Let's say I also want a child seat. I can add it, or a helmet, or so forth and so on. Not today. I'm going to proceed to my checkout. I want to rent this bike in just an hour. There's theft coverage. I can remove it if I don't want it, but today I do. And there's my deposit, my security fee that I will have to pay right now, but I will get it back if I bring back my bike. I'm going to go to the checkout. I can still see my address. There we edited it because Odoo says delivery address. It's not delivery address, it's client address. Pick up in store, Ghent St. Peters, same billing address, confirm. Normally I would arrive at the payment method right now. It's Digitizing, which is a payment method from City Ghent. But for our demo purposes, I've introduced a demo payment provider, and I'm going to validate my order, and then it will be ready to be processed in the backend. Let's have a look. So, in the rental module, you can now see a new order by Dynapse Odoo Experience. We can go and have a look. We can see what they rented, when they rented it, stock and so forth and so on. And let's say I'm there in Ghent St. Peters right now. Then Fietsambassade can say, all right, welcome. We see your order. We see you have paid. Time for your pickup. We're going to take this bike here. This bike is the bike with serial number. Scan, save, validate. And now the order has been picked up. I have left with my bike. Something we've also introduced that wasn't in the standard Odoo package is the way to extend your order. I've picked up my bike. I'm using my bike. My bike is amazing. I'm staying a week longer in Ghent. From my account or from my email, I now have the option for this order that I just picked up to extend it. You can see it on the button here. And let's say I want to extend even further until the 30th of September. I'm going to validate, and I will also need to pay this. I'm paying my extension. It's going to extend the original order's end date. It's going to get a new price from Odoo, and we're going to only have the client pay the difference. So now we see that the extension has been validated. I can go back to my original order. I can go back to the backend. If I refresh here, you can see now that there's an extension. This is my extended order. If I want, I can even extend further in the future as well. When we extend, we're also going to check, is there still stock availability? If there is no longer any stock, you won't be able to extend. All right, that was a great time. Loved my bike. Time to get back to Fietsambassade. In Fietsambassade, they can return the bike, then go inspect it, invoice me if I request an invoice, if necessary, go and do their repairs, and so forth and so on. So for Fietsambassade, it's an all-in-one package that they can use to rent out, have their bikes reserved, show products in their webshop, have them filterable, and simply have webshop visitors come and reserve beforehand. Moving back to my PowerPoint, that's all we had today for you. If you have any questions for either Thomas at Fietsambassade or for me as a business consultant and Dynapse, we're here to listen and answer your questions.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much for this talk, very interesting. I have two questions right now. The first one is, do you also rent per calendar day? Because in Odoo rental there is not yet implemented, not in days.
Per calendar day, yeah. They have rentals per calendar day. You can, this way we set it up for Fietsambassade, rental is day by day. What did we do? And that's quite interesting to know. I didn't show that yet, but I could, since I still have a little bit of time. So what we did, you have these warehouses, that's the pickup points. And then you have, for example, Ghent St. Peters, which I just opened. You have the opening hours here. And so the input from here is what's going to determine, both in the web shop and also in the backend, on at what days can a bike be returned. So if Fietsambassade, for example, has a collective closure day in one of their warehouses, they can simply put that in. There's no hourly rentals for Fietsambassade.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a second question. Do you also have access to spare parts for bikes? So for repair, the system knows exactly what part it has and can order the right part from vendors.
Are the spare parts in your backend? I believe so. And are they ordered through Odoo as well?
So bike components that we use for repairs.
Like this, when they come back for the repair, as I
Yeah.
understood, you know exactly what part you have to change and if you can directly order them.
Yeah, of course, for our rental bikes, those are all like the same type of bike. We have a stock of all the same bike components, of course. Now when it comes to bike repairs, we repair all kinds of bikes. Normal city bikes, e-bikes, speed pedelecs, cargo bikes, anything. So which means we need to be able to order a wide range of bike components. Of course, we don't have everything on stock, but because of Odoo, it's quite easy for us to make a new product and order it at our sales.
Okay, perfect. And then the last question for the moment. Do you guys make this presentation to gain new customers or more to teach new entrepreneurs about the process it took for you to create Fietsambassade?
Very good question. Well, first of all, contact info. Obviously, having some exposure, both for the Fietsambassade and for Dynaps, is a great thing. But other than that, it was also to show what Odoo can do for a company of the Fietsambassade type. They're in the public sector, so that makes it they are subsidized. But it's also rental, which we haven't seen in Odoo that much. I think when I speak for Dynaps, they are our biggest rental customer. We have a lot of customers who do a small amount of rental, but here, well, it never went further than this we've shown. And you can look in the back end, there's really like all these bikes are all tracked at all the time, just to show the power of Odoo. So for an entrepreneur who's looking at the rental business, we want to inspire them. Is it nice if they contact us? Obviously, yes. But if they go and simply believe in the power of Odoo, that's also fine for us.
Okay, so don't hesitate to contact you. And then I have a last question, I believe. What was the most difficult part of this implementation?
Let's say from your side, and then I'll say from my side, Thomas.
For me, personally, because we obviously had a team within the Fietsambassade, everyone doing his part, accounting, stock management. I was more in charge of the rental. For me personally, it was the serial numbers of all the bikes. As I said, 10,000 plus bikes in 3 different systems that needed to get a new unique serial number without forgetting the old number. And let's not forget, while implementing Odoo, most of our bikes were rented out. So they were active, they weren't in our warehouse physically. So that was something to keep in mind while also importing all the active contracts into Odoo. So that was for us quite and it's still ongoing now, because some bikes are rented out for a year. We won't see those bikes until a year. They're already imported into Odoo, but we still need to get the correct serial number on the bike and stuff. So that's still something, the implementing is still going on for about a year. So that's one of the challenges.
From my side, it's quite an easy answer. I'm thinking about the developer who created the web shop, and the most difficult part was dates. Because we're working with calendars, you're working with time zones, you're working with what's the quantity available at a certain date. You have to calculate that. You have to take into account what's going out, what's coming in, what's in which warehouse. So working with dates, working with periods on those sale orders was, well, for development, it was tough. And for me as a functional owner who was needing to test it, to write it out, that was also very, very difficult. To shout out to Lean, who did that wonderfully.
Okay, thank you. Do we have time for the last question or not? Yeah, okay. So the last one.
Okay, there's still one more.
Yeah, do you see opportunities in any new feature we've already seen at Odoo from Odoo 19?
Odoo 19 for rental, I haven't done the deep dive yet. I haven't seen if there's a lot of new things for rental. The one thing I saw is where you, if you rent out a certain product, the shift is automatically created in the planning module. That could be handy for quite a few of our clients. I don't think Fietsambassade applies there. So that's something that I've seen that's new. When it goes to price lists, Thomas mentioned it, there are some room for improvements, because base price and then an additional price per day is not included, so you have to do per day pricing, which leads to very long price lists. So I hope they will introduce that by Odoo 20.
We heard you. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation and for your time, and see you again.
See you again.
See you then. Thank you.